let the roads leave you and cook something. The water comes from the ceiling to the floor to here. Very low, it was really.
This was the computer lab too.
This is my tire shop.
Oh wow.
And I mean, it's raining in here.
You know, take all the debris away.
This is where the main termite damage was?
Yes, they have a lot of termite damage.
Want me to show you where?
Yeah, I'd like to see
In
it.
here,
Yeah.
This is where they did the inspection,
Okay.
and then they wrote that there, and then that's where they found him.
Oh, my Lord.
And see, termite damage, a baseboard. There it is right there.
I see it.
Yeah,
That's unbelievable. That's not good.
but this is where the majority of the termite damage is under the auditorium.
yeah.
Please don't.
Plenty solid.
I mean, it would make for a great movie shot, but please do not do that.
You don't need that.
It's real bad in there.
That was Coach Davis. I didn't like this.
That was Coach Davis.
And to move them out was a good thing because, I mean, we couldn't, it wasn't enough patching holes. And like I said, you get to the point where nobody wants to touch the roof.
Dude, sugar.
They like this, no,
Necessary.
we don't, hands off. You know, companies don't want to mess up their reputation unless you plan on doing a total roof replacement. That's where they are. The people are, you know. Or it's, of course, the bill passed.
The governor signed it?
And, yeah, as far as I know, he did. And,
Right up to 60-something% max
yes,
down.
and now we get like 48 cents on a dollar.
Good. Better than it was, like 20-something.
That's right, it's better than it was. But again, that money is like for, new facilities, and, that's shameful. I got a meeting with, them this summer after the legislative session closed, to discuss some more things, more options, for the Brinkley School District. I have been doing my lunch and learn, so if following the activities here on the, thing, where we said develop some community outreach strategies, I've been doing lunch and learn, been talking to some good folks, and, everyone wants to keep the school in the community. And, I told them, well, we have to determine if we want it in the community, are we willing to pay for it if we decide to do total renovation? Because we know that the partnership money is not,
Not gonna pay for it.
it's not gonna pay for that. And, so we have to come to some type of conclusion how we're gonna do it. I've invited, some other, contractors to come out here and give us some more quotes. And I'm just gonna be honest about it now, there is something about this here, they're not really want to, as they say, encroach on other contractors' territory. So, and I'm just like, come talk to me, let's see if we get some quotes. So I have one that's coming tomorrow. The other one have a nail down a date that he's gonna be able to come see me. But the one of them is the one that Clarendon used, what is it, NAPO? NAPO.
Yeah, they're good at Conway.
So I'm going to, meet with, one of them in the morning at 9 o'clock. And I'll just try to tell them, okay, let's look at another estimate. What can we do, quote how much, and tell them to give us another, you know, just tell us what they think it'll cost. And then we at least have 3 people to compare it. And then we're gonna have to make a decision, is you going for renovation, or we're going for trying to get these new facilities. If we get new facilities, we can still ask for less money, because the partnership money has increased now.
Here's the biggest problem I've run into. I went to all the people and I raised a bunch of money for the last one.
Right,
They're all willing to chip in again if we lower the cost.
right,
They think we went for too much,
and I agree,
and they said that if you come back with a reasonable plan,
right,
we'll each chip in like we did last time.
right.
And there's some good citizens here.
That's right. I agree. I've been meeting them, and they are some good citizens. So, and I feel like we did ask for too much, you know?
It was too big.
And so I feel like with the partnership money, we can nail down the actual cost, and then we get with Michael McBride and see, well, how much millage would we have to ask for in order to...
And what we get out of the state, I mean, that's gonna be a big factor too.
That's right. How we can do it.
I mean, I'm committed to doing it again,
Right.
you know, but we just gotta be realistic this time.
That's right.
I hate to go back again and say, give me more money, more money, more money.
Right.
9 out of the 10 people gave me big bucks, only one of them voted for it.
Right.
Now, that's sad.
Okay.
They put their money up, they didn't vote for it.
Okay. But I mean, we were asking for too much.
It'll work out.
Yeah. Come on in. Yeah, Miss. No, we gonna stay on.
I
this
think
here.
you run off.
I said the library and cafeteria. This is on this.
She ran off.
And so we also have done a campaign out approach with the social media. My student advisory board, they did create that commercial. I don't know if you all have seen it, but it is a very good commercial. They did it along with William. And that's just one of many things that we're gonna do. We're trying to push the positive. We're also looking at making sure that we're addressing this academic problem. And trying to focus on getting that letter grade back up, so people won't, even though we know, and I've been explaining to people on the Lunch and Learn, that the letter grade is just not about the test scores, it's about kids' attendance, it's about kids taking science of, you know, taking that computer science course. It's a lot of factors in there. Kids dropping out of school, we lose points. It's a lot of factors wrapped up into that score, and so what we want to do is to continue to promote the positive and continue to work on the academics while we're working on the facilities as well. And that's something that we know that we owe the public, we owe the community, is a better school system, producing some better students. But one thing that doing that commercial with those students, we have very creative kids here. We have very talented kids here, and I would put these kids at Brinkley High School up against any kids in the state of Arkansas, because here's why. We just gave them parameters, and they went to work and created that. So that tells me these kids can do. Now it's time for the teaching and learning to shift in the building, where we can allow kids to do more projects, and that's relevant to the community. So I believe if we are to get this here, you know, some new facilities, the kids are going to be the ones that have to drive it home. And so we are working on some things like that. So, and like I say, we do still need to establish some more people. Like I say, we did a good job pushing that partnership money, and it got passed through the House and the Senate, which is good, and went on to the governor with no problem. So we just now have to do our part and come up with the decision. And this is anything that, you know, it's time now for you all to talk and say what needs to happen. I know, Mr. Mayor, I need to check in with you about the sign out front.
I've got some money, got some in my glove box, but I don't have enough yet.
Okay,
One thing I have a concern about,
okay,
you are obviously the most important person here when we have a meeting,
right,
and then the board members. But your maintenance supervisor has
Right.
got to be here, and he's got to understand how big a job he's got and be responsible, because I feel like that's our problem here, is not having a maintenance supervisor to ramrod these things.
okay,
You, as a superintendent, cannot manage the plant.
right,
You've got too many other irons in the fire. And I feel like that we're missing the boat. And I think I heard you say, Mr. Thomas, Lee Thomas is your maintenance supervisor? I don't know about him. I'd like to meet him, but not only that, he wouldn't want to walk with me down that hallway and see what I see. Now, I'm being pretty nice to you because you're a lady and you're the superintendent, but we can't tolerate that. And you've got to do a better job.
Well, here's the thing, and here's, the facilities guy, from Little Rock came in and he popped up. And I told him that that could happen at any time, and that was last week. And he understands where we are, and he's feeling our pain. But Mr. Thomas then was doing that stuff and trying to replace tiles and doing that stuff, and he walked in on Larry Harding doing that. And he said, you all are just wasting money if you don't get your roofs and stuff fixed. So even if Mr. Thomas them continue to do this here, we continue to buy the material. If we're not fixing the roof, just like that facility,
Well,
and
you've got to have the roof fixed. That's the first
Right.
thing you see.
And,
If you can't stop the water, there's no need of working on the other thing.
and that's it. And that's where the problem comes, because the roof has to be brought down. Not only this roof, but the annex roof. They said it has to all be brought all the way back down to the rafters and redone. So,
But a maintenance person would not have let these floors get wet. He would have had enough 5-gallon buckets in each room, and he would have kept them dumped. And we wouldn't see these floors buckled. Now, you may have seen some ceiling tile messed up because the water come through it, but I'm talking about any water that comes off of that roof. A good maintenance person has already identified every leak, and he's got buckets under it. He's keeping the water from destroying the building.
Mr. Bethel, we don't have that many buckets.
I'm sorry, but I got a whole bunch of 5-gallon buckets.
Woo!
But I'm just saying,
I
that's
know
the
what you're
type of maintenance person we need.
Huh?
We need somebody that's gonna take some pride and responsibility and to do these things and see them through. If you don't have that, we're gonna be worse than where we're at. And we got to have a maintenance supervisor to be responsible for this plant and report to you daily, whatever you want. But when you have a board meeting, that person gets in the hot seat bunch. And that's what I'm trying to say. That's how important it is. Education, all these other things, safety of the kid is utmost important, but if you can't provide a place for them here, you know, you're missing the boat to start with. And
Well-
that's my concern.
And that's the State Department's concern as well, being warm, safe, and dry. And, like I said, and like they said, the type of roof that we need, they said kids cannot be present, and it's gonna take months. So, cause we were talking about, so if we fix it over something, they said they're not gonna take, it's, cause they gotta come all the way off. And so, and that's when they went to the conversation about, you're gonna need some portable buildings until you can get some of this stuff done. Because you all are spending a lot of money in trying to maintain and keep this stuff going, when you actually just need simply, you're gonna have to put some roofs on here.
But I don't think you spend any money on this facility. Looking at it, I don't think, you may have paid the utility bills, but there ain't been nothing done here.
Well, they were paying someone, to go and to patch up these roofs, plenty. Money was going on patching roofs.
Well, I mean, if you identify a leak, you know where it's coming from on top. And I'm not saying that's the right way to go, because I don't like patching stuff either, but if you got a leak like in the auditorium, you know where that leak's at. You can get up there and find it and fix it. I don't know, I'm not a roofer, but I know that if something's leaking, there's a problem up there.
Well,
People fixing the roofs when roofers needed, evidently.
And I mean, even after the storm damage, we're still having to call out the people that did the roof down there, because here's the thing, they fixed the roof the best they could, go back and we say, y'all, it's still leaking. By the time you fix that leak, then there's another one there, and it's like keep chasing, they're chasing their tails, trying to keep up with the leaks.
You know, flat roofs, you're gonna have problems with it. That flat roofs is just the worst thing you could have for a building, but, I mean, you got them, you gotta deal with them.
Won't you have him come to every board meeting? That might be helpful, like Mr. Bradford could question him about what he's doing.
Right.
Maybe
Let me
communication
say
problem.
this. I've attended board meetings, I've read it back I've been around here 40 years, and I've never seen a maintenance supervisor at a board meeting.
Mr. Wilson has made several of them, and he was the maintenance supervisor here. And not only that, Mr. Wilson made sure the superintendent voiced his opinion to the board. Now, I just visited with Mr. Wilson the other day on this, and he, you know,
But it was still, we still had leaks and.
but you're on top of them. You don't let it totally destroy a building just because it leaks. I mean, that's not being proactive.
He was there, but
But, Mr. Wilson and Mr. Ryder both done a good job, but
yeah, I agree with you on that.
They,
They were here when they were.
Marvin was up here, I'm gonna say probably 5 o'clock every morning,
Yeah,
and he went to almost every classroom, every day. He done that. He checked lights, he checks thermostats, he checks the bathrooms. You won't find, I mean, I say that, I think there's people out there as good as him, if not better, but you gotta work hard to be what we've had here as maintenance supervisor.
Well,
I was
here's,
here at
but
6 to
here's,
6:30, so I know you telling the truth.
but here's the thing about that now, we have labor laws. I had to not long ago send, in a, pretty much, a signed statement, notarized statement, saying that I was not, violating the labor laws. I had to watch all kind of videos, it would not classify people. So to require people to come in without them volunteering, we have to pay them. So, I mean, you have stated, yes, ma'am. And we had to watch videos on labor laws and had to get back a signed agreement to ADE. We're dealing with a lot of parameters that the public aren't aware of, that schools have to enforce and abide by. I can't make them do things after hours.
So years
It's
ago,
not-
that
it's
must
not
didn't
just
happen.
this one either. It's just about any business now.
Yeah.
You know, that's just like me, I cannot work anywhere regardless, unless I'm on the clock. If I go to a meeting, if I'm off and I go to a meeting, once I get to that meeting, I got to clock in. If I'm not clocked in, they can terminate me right off the spot. So it's one of them situations where you got to
Things
abide by
different
the
than it
rules.
was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
big
So
difference,
always
big
gone.
difference.
Yes, ma'am, it's gone, and I mean, I get regulations from Little Rock every day, and I said, these are the parameters, and we're trying to work within them to keep things going, and it's getting hard. If you don't have a person to just say, I'm dedicated, and I'm gonna give up my time, and I'm gonna do whatever I got to do, I can't make them do it. I can't even just say, well, I need you to come out here, you know, cause then I have to pay you.
Well, when Mr. Wilson left, and he told me this, he was drawing $43,000 a year. And he said, I had the best job anywhere. He said, I could not believe I was making that kind of money. So I don't know how he was paid by the hour or whatever. He was paid by the job. Because the superintendent wanted him to make sure thermostats were corrected at night, but he wanted them ready, you know, fixed in the morning when the teachers got here, the class was right. Marvin never worked over. I mean, if there was a water line busted in the winter, it didn't matter, weekend, whatever, he was here.
Mr. Murphy, you don't have them people. I'm just gonna be honest, we have people that, if you ask them to do too much duty, then they griping. And so we have to get down to the minute. I can't give the teachers over 60 minutes of duty a week.
But you know, I see that. I'm as an outside person, I can walk on this campus and see that. I've attended, you know, you were down at the elementary the other day. Trash was just blown all around that elementary entrance, and I thought, well, you know, why would somebody allow the public, the community, to come up here to an event today with this door trashed up with, I mean.
And I've gotten out there myself.
They should have been there at 6 o'clock in the morning at daylight, getting all that stuff cleaned up. If you're trying to make an impression on this community, that you've got pride and stuff in this facility, then those are the indicators that you look at.
Right.
And they have to, and I'm just saying your maintenance person
Right,
needs to motivate and inspire some people
right,
to do some things.
that's right. That's true.
Are you saying now that if a person comes, what time do they report? Are they required to report?
If I walk in another store, someone wants me to do something, but I can't do it because I'm not on the clock. So normally when I get off the clock, I pull the shirt off,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, because, and then they get frustrated if you don't do it when they ask you to, you know.
Well, people can see through, you know, they can see that. I mean, understand what's going on there. If somebody gets hurt accidentally, then, you know, you gotta be responsible for them, and, you know, they wanna know. But I'm just saying, if you got somebody that is gonna take some pride and responsibility, and you know that, those people, they're dedicated, they're above and beyond, and that's what you want. And you know, most of the time, all it takes is a pat on the back and say, hey, we really appreciate you, you're doing a good job, and thank you.
And I get in there and help them, because that entrance right there, I have swept out that entrance,
Well,
and cleaned it up, and I tried to model that for them. I'm not just a superintendent. If I see something needs done, I'm gonna get in here and do it, but I need the custodians to be able to see dirt, and I need the, people to be able to see things that need to be fixed. And I've talked to them and made this man about that. I said, you walk around the school, if I'm seeing a sign leaning and I take a picture and send it to you, then you should have that same lens on. When you walk around the school, I need you to see that this sign needs to be straightened up. And I need you to see the front entrance is not clean, and that, right there in that elementary where stuff seems to blow. I got out there one morning and cleaned all that out, and I had some patrons that said, well, you know, if I didn't have to go here, I would help you do it. So you're right. I mean, it's just taking.
well, you're trying to be a role model, and everybody appreciates that, but if the people you got hired can't pick up on that, you know, if you can't jumpstart them by you doing that, you don't need them. Now, I'm gonna be
I
honest
worked
with
in the
you.
cafeteria. I'm trying to help out everywhere I can. So
But if they're not appreciating you for what you do, and you being that role model, I'm sorry, but they need to be finding a job somewhere else.
I'm gonna put it like this, and I ain't taking sides. Those people are for and gone. You can do a perfect job now. And that person come behind you, is gonna do what he has to do and no more. They don't care anymore.
Yeah, but there's,
You can't
what
find it.
comes around goes around, and I firmly believe that, so, you know, you find somebody that's hard worker, dedicated, honest person, they'll make you a good employee. But if you find somebody that doesn't have motivation, and you can't inspire them,
right,
you're wasting your time.
right. And
That's like finding good parents today. There's as big a problem as your employees are. They care about their kids' education. I mean, that's a sad situation in this community. Look how many grandparents are raising their grandkids. I mean, I come up here and I see more grandparents than others.
That's true. We just,
I mean, we got a bunch of problems I think we can all solve, but there's multiple problems that are involved in this.
right. And we're
But I commend you for doing what you're doing. I know
and
you're
we're
trying to do
working
your
on it.
best.
We're gonna try to have a mandatory meeting for parents this, summer to talk about the, discipline infractions that we're seeing and the areas that they can help us in. You know, I really can't say mandatory, but I'm gonna try to squeeze that in there somewhere. And try to get them out here, just having a talk with them about the handbook and all the infractions that we're seeing and how they, as parents, gonna have to clean
Get
that
some of
up.
them volunteers to come up here and help at the school.
Right,
You don't have to pay them.
that's
And
right.
if they got pride in their kids, they shouldn't mind coming up here and volunteer maybe on a Saturday morning, clean up the grounds.
That's right, and that's what we are, motivating the people, and it's gonna take all of us, to motivate people, because I find that the community is very supportive, they want the school here, and pretty much everyone we ask to do something for the school, they do it, and which is unheard of in other communities that I've been in, so
Yeah.
I do feel like Brinkley's community is very supportive of the school, I have found that to be, I mean.
You lose your school, you lose your town.
Right, and I'm working on a formula with that, and Mr. Ben is, helping me with that, to show them the economic impact, that the school actually has on the community.
The payroll.
Yes,
You know,
it's a
that's
professional
important.
payroll,
Yeah.
so we're.
You're a big business here.
That's right, so if we gotta have this school, you're gonna lose a lot of revenue if the school leaves. So,
Well, I've seen the largest gathering of parents that we've had is only at the beginning of school, when we offer them those, packages, the children come. Maybe we can, the last time it was in the auditorium, is that not correct?
in the cafeteria, the gym.
In the gym. So maybe we can have them stay, and meet with them, because it seems that every time we ask them to come, the public to come, when we're down there to the board meeting, we don't have anybody. So we've got to catch them when we can. And that's one of the largest times that I know, one of the times that we have more parents here that, in it is at the beginning of when you're giving away those packs.
That's a
Now,
great
what-
idea.
But, I mean, it's up to be given, but what I'm saying is we need them here to hear what needs to be done and what is going on. If they have the interest of their children, then by all means, you know they need materials and supplies for the beginning of school. There are other things that, you know, you need to be here.
Right.
So I just know that that's one time that I see lots of parents, but at other meetings, I don't see them. So if we
That's a
can
great
get them.
idea. Maybe we can get them to volunteer, maybe a Saturday morning,
Right.
once a month, come over and help, do whatever we gotta do.
But you have to have, most of the time, one-on-one with them to get any commitments from them. If you've got a broad group and you're talking to them, you're not gonna get people to raise their hand and say some things. But if you find someone that's got an interest and you basically interview them and say, hey, what do you see, what can you do? And kind of help put them in charge of that project, you'd be surprised what you would get out of it. You've got to go about that in a particular way to get participation from the family members and all that, because I think genuinely there's a lot of them here that will do some things, but you got to approach them the right way to get that participation.
I have a question. Because I've been attending these meetings for over a year now, and I've been listening to a lot of things, and everyone knows this. So you stated earlier that payroll was an issue. So is there not a loophole where we can get volunteers from the community for the school and it be okay?
Well, yeah, they could volunteer to help out around the school, yes.
Okay, so is there limitations to that? Like I know you talked about the trash earlier and stuff like that, but can you name off some things that said volunteers can and cannot do?
Right, we need them. Now, if a sex offender, people like that.
Well, I mean, yeah. But I mean, like bringing water in and out the building, or patching up certain things, not necessarily repair them, but long enough, because the way I see it,
That would have to come from within the school, because you can't, I would say, things on the outside that people can freely get to would be
Right.
fine, but you can't allow people just to
Go in
come
the
and go to
school.
the building, because somebody get hurt, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, you got.
Right.
so I guess what I'm asking for
That's
is,
it.
what is the solution to this? Either we find a solution, but this is the way I see it, because I think things long term. Whatever we do in this building, whether the water pails, dust, anything, it depends on whether we totally decide to do renovation for this building or completely demolish it and build a new facility. So I think that question needs to be answered first, not like a set in stone answer, but like something to ride on, so that way you'll know what decisions to make for the next 8 months. You know what I'm saying? Because if we say, for instance, say we somehow, by the grace of God, completely fix the roof. Okay, let's say that happens. Okay, but then we find out that the termite damage is still there, even then they're sprayed away, but the foundation is still compromised, and then a child gets hurt. Then A, that's on the school. B, you have to build a new facility anyway. So what I'm asking for is, what is the solution to the bigger problem? Because right now we're solving little things, and I don't mind solving little things. I don't mind doing that, but we have to think about the bigger picture. So I'm not going against anybody. I just need. That's why I don't like talk shows. People talk too much, and I need solutions. That's just how I think.
But here's the solution, because I'm meeting with NAPO tomorrow.
Right.
I'm still trying to get that other budget. When we can get at least 3 bids and quotes on this school, we have a place to go. Now, they coming to meet with me tomorrow, and all this encroaching on other people's territory, I don't feel like it's other people's territory, so I'm trying to make that clear to them, to not look at it from that standpoint. We just trying to get 3 different opinions to make sure that the prices aren't inflated and things of that nature. Then I feel like we can make a decision. How much will it cost? And we can get Mike McBride here based on these quotes, how much would it cost to renovate versus new facilities? And things of that nature, once we can see, because I think the community they also were a little, didn't kind of believe the price that Baldwin and Shell threw out there.
Let me give you a suggestion, and our great Oliver back here knows this. North Little Rock passed a bond issue to build a new jail and police department, $10 million. They went over budget by 10 million, then they're not gonna be able to build it, the voters aren't gonna pay anymore. We're living within our budget, our building is complete.
Right,
We accepted the lowest bid, right?
right.
And they've done a great job, Moser Construction out of
Right,
Brighton.
that's the next one I'm trying to get in contact with, because he's doing
They
Barton
are
School
very
District.
good. Every day I go down, and the superintendent's on the spot every day helping,
Barton,
supervising.
yeah, Barton, that's
And,
the
you know,
next person I'm trying to get to come here.
What I'm looking for is a realistic budget that I can go out and sell, okay?
Right,
Give me $1,000. Here's what we cut it from the last time. Here's what we're gonna go for this time, and we're gonna live within that budget.
right,
If we don't live within it, then we've lost credibility forever.
right.
Not of the voters, but the people who are gonna give money. So there are a lot of good construction companies, and I'm very pleased with the one we have at City Hall doing the renovations. They've done a great job renovating. You need to go up there and look at the City Hall and the jail. And we're under budget, we're gonna stay under budget, we got the money to pay for it.
Right,
And Stevens worked with us very closely. And we had Whittenberg, Deloney, and Davidson's architects, they're very good. And they made sure too, that we could live within what Mr. McBride gave us, the figures to build it with, where we didn't go over budget. So I feel we can get this deal done, we just gotta get on
right,
that.
because.
I think he's part Japanese, he's long-term planning, but I mean, we gotta have a master plan
Right, and
that we
every,
can live with and
Right.
everybody in the community understands it.
because even whenever they come in and do their, give us another quote, Mr. McBride has to look at that quote to make sure that they gonna be able to do everything. See, that's the problem coming in there. When they start giving the quotes, we have to send that stuff to the State Department. Will this bring it up to your standards where it needs to be? And then that's kind of how the cost starts
And we'll have the
arising.
state's figures factored into how much they're gonna pay.
Right.
See, that's important too, where we have an overall big picture look at where we're
They're
at.
not gonna do renovation, so you take them out of the equation towards renovation.
Well, I know, but what we have to build
Right,
on the facilities part, they'll chip in their part of it.
right.
Before their contribution was so small, it wasn't worth it.
18%, that's right. Now it's going up to 67%, so
I'll take 67 any day of the week.
that's right.
Listen, I hate to leave, but I gotta go somewhere
Yeah,
else.
and then that's what it is, it's just where we are, we're gonna continue to go around, talk to people, but the people I've talked to, they just, don't want, I've had some that's just outright tell, whatever you do, we're not consolidating, with Claire.
You know, I've got two little granddaughters that go to school up here. I talk to them all the time, how's school? They love it. They get mad when their mama won't take them to school. I mean, that's a good sign they're starting out pre-K and K.
Right,
You know, they're happy.
right.
I don't know what happens when they grown up, but I mean, at that age, that's good though, that they're enthusiastic because they got a good building.
Right,
And they've got good teachers over there.
that's right.
But I'll do whatever I can like I did last time. But we need to all be on the same page because I got hung out to dry.
Yes, sir.
And I got left holding the bag.
People that you're talking about to look at the things to upgrade this, what I think would help would be an appraisal of this facility with it completed, like the roof repair,
Italian.
the ceiling tile, whatever has to be done to the floor, get an appraisal, and you can get an appraisal before to see where you're at and where you're going, because, we got sprinkler system in here, we did all the electrical, we put all new lights in, we did all new windows. I mean, I can just go on and on about the things that was done, probably less than 20 years ago, that still got a lot of life. But I think the bottom line here, if you spend $1 million, will you have a $15 million facility? And to me, if you can spend $1 million and you got a $15 million investment, that's a pretty good thing. But now, the other side of that is, I know you're gonna wanna look at a whole new facility from the ground up, but this community really this building is the heart and soul of the community. And if you were able to do some things to this, and I'm saying down the road, you have a Saturday where the community shows up and cleans this place. They bring their own cleaning stuff, their own supplies. You'd be surprised. You would have a bunch of ants running over this building. Yeah, you'd have to have it supervised with your maintenance people, but I'm saying you would see what this community's got to offer if it got to that point. And I firmly believe that. But talking about money, you find out what it's gonna cost, and then what's the facility worth. And you gotta understand too, this is an existing facility, so it don't have to meet all the state requirements of a new facility, because it is a facility that's already here, and there's a different standard.
Right, well, they talked to us about the standards, and they have told us if you start renovation, the electrical, the plumbing, the wiring, the floor, everything has been, so the State Department does have a standard. And that standard is quite expensive, because they said once we get into renovation, they have given us the thing, you have to renovate it all.
Yeah, but the roof is the major repair.
Right.
The roof is the big problem here. And if Terminex takes care of the damage up there of the auditorium,
Terminex ain't taking care of nothing.
okay.
They
I jumped up and down on that floor in there, it didn't give one bit. I mean, I weighed close to 300 pounds.
Can you imagine 500 students going in and out, and how long would it have been before it means someone already put there? And I'm not going against you particularly. Again, I'm a long-term thinker. I mean, one person already felt his foot through the floor. Now, again, imagine if that would have been a child, then what? What situation would we be in today? And again, most of the termite damage, and I've seen the damage, not just in the auditorium, has compromised not just the second floor, but mostly the first floor, which is the foundation of the entire building. So I know we want to solve things in the here and now, but that's why I said we need to figure out what our end goal is, so that way we can backtrack and know what our steps, so we can know what direction we need to take before wasting not just money, but time and energy, effort and morale on something that's going to go down. Because can you imagine trying to fix up a school, and then it's like saying, it's like, for instance, it's like what you said earlier. 2001, there was a renovation here, right? Okay, that was almost 20 years ago, okay? And the community feels like, okay, well, we just did this renovation, so how come we have to basically do it again, okay? Now, imagine taking them through that same thing again with the roof, but then you still have the underlying problem, and then beyond any of our abilities or unforeseen circumstances, the whole thing has to come down. Now you have the community saying, well, we just fixed the roof. We just did all this. We didn't put our all into it, and now you're telling us that it's all for nothing? So that's what I'm saying. And again, it's not against you. It's like we have to figure out what the end goal is.
That's why I say, do your homework, get
Right.
it appraised, and you know where you're at. It's just math.
Right.
But I can say this, there's no flat roof that you should not budget money for maintenance. If you got a flat roof, and
You
you
shouldn't have
don't,
a flat roof.
huh?
You shouldn't have a flat roof.
Okay, but you got a flat roof. Well,
Right.
you got-
If you do anything, you ain't gonna have a flat roof.
So
You gotta put
will
a,
the next roof be flat?
No,
Probably not.
no, ma'am.
Well,
Well, it makes sense not to
let's
have a
get
flat
the
roof.
new roof, it's not flat.
Pitch.
But the bottom line is, when you get all these figures put together, you find out what you got, money-wise. Because that's, and don't let people tell you, well, that building's 40 years old, it ain't worth nothing, but they're wrong, because, sometimes the older something is, the better it gets. Now, that ain't true with a lot of people. A lot of people don't think that way, but I told you the story about the 40-20 John Deere. And it's worth a whole lot more today than it was when it was new. So I think there's a lot here for this facility, but I'm open-minded though. Let's do our homework, and then we decide.
Where is the most termite damage at?
Auditorium in the front parts of the building. There are some on the back side, on the back sides here, and on the sides here. Barely any on the east. Yeah, barely any on the east side. It's mostly on the west and the north side of the buildings. No.
We've had Orkin, to come out and to, assess the situation as far as treating the termite. And, she's working up the report, now on that. Some places she could not go, cause like I say, that basement area was flooded out. It was water up to almost her thighs, and she just couldn't get down there in that part of it.
She trying to get an estimate for its cost.
For as to treat the termite, she said the other damage that the termite has, created underneath, they don't do that. The only thing they would come in and do is treat the termite. All the other foundational issues would still we would still have to fix those.
Contract.
Yeah,
Well, like O'Shan, I mean, there's a whole bunch of companies out there that do that kind of stuff. I mean, we're not limited to just one or two.
right.
Open it up and see who can come do the things that needs to be done and have them give you a price. But I see O'Shan advertised on TV all the time, and that's all they do.
You say O'Shane.
O'Shan, I guess next time I see it, I'll write the phone number down. I just, probably Google it and get it.
Yeah, yeah, right. Okay. So I got some homework to do. And like I said, I get started on that tomorrow with the, NAPOs is coming tomorrow, so I'll talk to them.
I think, several different estimates from several different people would suffice the community to know what we're up against on as far as price. And,
Right.
then we could put it in the numbers on this versus, renovating or building. I mean, that's,
Right.
we're gonna have to show them something in
Right.
concrete, something on, but I think it needs to be several different ones.
I agree.
And if you feel like it's totally out of line, open up out of state. I mean, I hate doing that, but a lot of people, they're in cahoots with the State Department on these things, and I don't like that, because it's outrageous to me, the prices they give you to do things just because you've got state money and different things going into it. So I'm just saying, if it's just out of line, don't be scared to go a little further and see what we can come up with. Of course, they gotta be licensed, they gotta have all the things.
Well,
you
yeah,
gotta
they have to
but-
do all that, yeah.
So you're saying even if the state does not give us money for this building, we still have to abide by their guidelines, state guidelines as a school, right?
Because it's a school with children
Yeah,
in it.
okay.
Mhm.
But we could get other folks out of the state to repair the building. That's what you're saying, bids from other people that know how to do that work.
You just have to use the state standards, and then they just,
I never did like the contractors charging a big fee just to come look at it and give you an idea, and then get somebody else to come make a price. I always thought you should be able to eliminate the middle person and get what you want, but you've gotta have contractors to come look at it and then decide who they wanna come in and make bids on it and go through that process. Contractors charge an enormous amount of money. But you gotta do it because state things that wants you to do it. Who do we have as a contractor for the state? Who do y'all have?
Baldwin and Shell.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, how long do we have them?
Mr. Mecca.
probably 2 years, probably.
Yeah.
They've come to all of them, there's several of them,
Yeah.
you've asked them questions.
Are you all pleased with it? As a whole?
I mean, here, he's there, they always tell me to get bids. You go on, and they'll tell me that their prices is fair and in line with the cost. They make sure that they say that they're not inflated. I mean, other schools that are using, I know like Bryant them and Helen, West Helen, all those schools are pleased with them. the schools that they have used. Built schools in Northwest Arkansas, and, they're pleased with them.
I would say, I guess I'm not unsatisfied with it.
Okay. All right, that's
But I'm just saying, you know, when you get a footage on your roof, you could call them and tell, you know, just give them your square footage, and they could probably give you a ballpark figure, knowing what they're up against, especially if they're in that business.
Right.
So in other words, you gotta know what type of lingo and questions to.
Well, yeah, I
Put
have,
to them.
I have the square footage and all of that stuff. Dr. Stein worked up all of that stuff. That's why we have a facilities manager.
Oh, okay.
And, Dr. Stein has all of that square footage stuff already worked up and stuff, so,
So you got it in the blueprint.
yep. So we can, talk to the people about that, get a little, All right, y'all.
We get some fresh air.
Yeah, you gonna get some fresh air. And so I'll get back with you all and I'll get right on this here.